Yo, 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 guys, what is up, and welcome back to another episode of the Warriors Invitational. It's your boy Gautam, my boys Matt and Chuck. We got a full house today. Chuck, sir, welcome back. Matt, good to see you again, brother. Gentlemen, how are we doing? How are we doing? It's been a minute since we got the full squad.
Oh, we're doing great, man. Chilling, enjoying this stretch, constantly watching the standings. Man, it's a fun time for hoops, dude. We got playoff races heating up. We're in the middle of the conference tourneys. Shout out to my Denver Pioneers playing for a spot in March Madness tonight. Go Pios, down with the Jackrabbits. No, yeah, we're doing great, man. How you doing, Matt?
Doing good, man. Yeah, that stuff is just good, man. It's prime hoop season, playoff race, like you said. All the conference tournaments coming up. March Madness. We got next weekend, right? 2 weeks. Um, it's a good time to be a hoops fan, man. So no complaints outside of our Golden State Warriors, man.
You said it, man. Good times to be a Hoops fan, but weird time to be a Dubs fan, as always, as this season has been, man. Nah, just kicking it. We'll just kick it straight off, guys. Warriors, since the last time we spoke, Matt, we recorded right before the Bucks game. We kind of went through our predictions. The Warriors were rolling, obviously, winning, 13 of their last 17, and we envisioned I envisioned a perfect start. You were, up and down, but we thought, it'd be better than we are sitting right now. Obviously, just a fantastic win against the Bucks. Arguably their best win of the season. Just full squad, everybody healthy, guys in their roles that you'd want them to be in. Going into the play-in and the playoffs. Just a great all around game. And then the very next night against the Chicago Bulls. Everything that could have gone wrong did. Really, you just forget about obviously the Warriors blowing another double-digit lead. This time in the second quarter, a little back and forth. Had an opportunity to win it, and then down the stretch, obviously our glorious king Stephen Curry tweaks an ankle, out in considerable pain. Looked like a pretty severe, kind of ankle twist or thing, buckle, if you want to call it that. And then the Warriors lose that, and then in true Warriors fashion, man, the worst team in the Western Conference comes into the building, no, without their two best players, and the Warriors get dog walked. Just a beautiful, beautiful Saturday. Couldn't have really dreamed of anything better, but Warriors bounced back again last night against the same Spurs team with Wemby and Vassell. So Warriors so far pick up their first win without Steph, but kind of a disappointing week if you want to look at it like that. Obviously with the loss to the Bulls, the loss to the Spurs, and then just kind of how that first half went last night as well. So Chuck, man, having you back on here, talk me through this the last few games, man. Since that Bucks game, just walk me through this kind of disappointing stretch at really the worst time, man.
Yeah, well, obviously, not much you can say about Chicago game. Like they had it, they lost Steph. Draymond fouled out toward the end of that one too, right?
Yep.
So they were just like both shooting themselves in the foot and getting shot in the foot, which is just not the way you want to see that go. And obviously, taking a tough L to a team you really should be beating at this stage of the season, it just makes it even worse. You never want to see that, but yeah, rolling into San Antonio, you're like 2 games against them. You're kind of like, all right, like this Steph or no, this has to be two wins. No Wemby for the first game, and that was, I mean, in a season of soul crushing losses, that was up there. Like they just did not look competitive enough. The offense just did not flow without Steph. Obviously, we're seeing a really tough stretch here for Brandon Pajemski. He's been struggling a bit, especially on offense, but having some defensive issues as well. And yeah, that was a brutal one, but got back on the horse and managed to pull off a good little win last night. Rough first quarter, but really pulled it together down the stretch to put that game away. I thought they did a really good job containing Wembanyama because he's just ridiculous. But that's what they're going to need to do. Like these games are going to be tough. And, we saw the team, especially like third quarter after that timeout, like we saw the team that they can be without Steph. So, I think I think one thing to take away from the stretch is it's a little reductive to just say, oh, well, Steph's out, we're screwed. Like this team is still capable of playing really good basketball. They just need to find the fire and find the energy to put together a good stretch because, you look at the schedule coming up, if Steph's going to be out against Dallas, that's, that's a really important game right there. And you got to put together an effort because yeah, you're right now sitting 2.5 games behind them. And if they win this one, it's going to be really hard to catch them. So yeah, just, a real mixed bag of a stretch, but man, shout out to TJD, dude. The way he's been playing over this, like since he really became like that rotation fixture. You want to go like last 10 games, he's 9 points, 5 boards, getting about 1.7 steals and blocks a game, and he's shooting 79% from the floor.
Jesus.
Just finishing absolutely everything he can. So yeah, dude, shout out to Trace. He's been awesome recently.
And perhaps the dunk of the year on
Yeah.
Wembanyama. So I'm gonna be the party pooper here, man. I hate the throw-in dunks. I hate the Blake Griffin dunks. I love that he posterized Wemby. He did. He did it on a poster. All right. I hate the Blake Griffin dunks, man. I want hand to hit rim. I'm just saying. With that being said, though, dunking on in any form, to be clear, I'm calling it a dunk still. It's still a dunk. Dunking in any form on 7'4", you know, flashy Rudy Gobert is incredible. Okay, so all the props and love in the world to TJD. I was screaming all kinds of things. You would have thought I was an English person in the 1800s, man. I was so anti I was so anti French. It was unreasonable, and I had no reason for it. So anybody above, below, or adjacent to my apartment, I apologize. No, that was a highlight of the weekend. Probably that win was also like overall it was kind of what you hope for from this team in a lot of ways. Steve, he's the master of second chances, man, because he came to his senses like he generally does. Pardon me, after a fuck up with the CP pods, Draymond, TJD, Kuminga lineup from Saturday night, which I'm still baffled that was like a thing anybody considered, but I love it. I love that he's as innovative as he is. So fantastic. No, I mean, again, good win good win Monday, but you guys kind of hit it. And Chuck, you described them as games you have to have, right? You're playing against the worst team in the West, Gotham, like you said, playing against a lackluster but kind of zombie-esque Bulls team that does kind of just find ways to win games late. They have two guys in DeRozan and White who kind of do that, who have been doing that of late, I should say. But it's just this is when you remember this team just isn't that great. They are a good team. They're not a great team. We can discuss ceilings and whatnot later on, but this is what mediocre teams do, right? This is what teams that are inconsistent do. They lose games they should win a lot of the time, right? That's a reason. There's a reason this team is 3 or 4 games above 500 and not a 40-win team. And of course, well, first of all, the main reason is that Draymond missed 25 fucking games for thinking it was a UFC, I don't even know, tournament for the first 3 weeks of the season, man. But it's just this is what the team is. They are a mediocre team. This last stretch kind of confirmed that. That was kind of my takeaway. I need to stop. I think we as a fandom need to stop placing at least. We're all going to do it. We all got to stop placing regular season expectations on this squad, man. If they win 45 games, that's probably around where they're ending up. If they get to 46, I'll be shocked. But with the way things are going, Chuck, you described that schedule. It's Dallas, it's Lakers, it's Knicks. The next 3, the Knicks look like they're getting OG back. I think Randall might be back as well. Lakers have been playing really good basketball for a hot minute now. And obviously the Mavericks have one of the most high-powered offenses in the league. And the Warriors aren't going to have their offensive engine. So it's going to be a tough stretch. There's still games to win after that. Incredibly disappointing. Truly that Bulls loss was just, listen, Pods is not the criminal we're making him out to be right now, but my God, man. TJD sealed whoever the hell that was, Desumu, I think, and Pods just
Look,
Oh man, he shot the bunny, man. That thing's dead and bleeding all over the house, man. So Pods, come on. Can't believe it. I screamed. I call him the greatest ginger of all time. You can't do things like that if you're the greatest ginger of all time. I hate to say it.
yeah, no, 100%, man. I think, yeah, those last two losses, bro, they kind of just cemented that, this team's not making it out of the plan, in terms of like seeding wise. I think, the sixth seed, I think you can kiss goodbye. Just with, there's, like you said, there's going to be games to win. They're going to make up some ground. I think they make it close, to be honest. But that Bulls loss and specifically that Spurs loss, like there's just zero excuse to lose that game. I don't care who you're playing. I mean, the fact that you were playing the Spurs, without their two best players, you said it, Matt. Like they're good enough to win without Steph. They're good enough to win that game without Steph. And again, they showed it, on Monday. So that just makes that Saturday loss even more annoying. But yeah, I mean, overall, like I think for me especially, like it definitely just confirmed, like you said, this team is not it's not great. It's not a contending team. If you're gonna be very, very honest, just looking at, the other teams in the West and the Denvers, the fact.
Pods, I'm giving you until the Warriors lock down the eighth seed to take that back. So I have no doubt, Gotham. Come game two
No, no,
of the first
I'm
round.
saying I will. I'm prefacing all of this by saying like I still think their ceiling is a top eight seed, and I think if they get two cracks at getting it, playoffs are a completely different ball game. I will my as long as they don't play Denver in the first round, I think they have a chance to beat anybody else in the West. I still agree with that, but that path gets a lot easier if they won those two games. And you're sitting at whatever 30, what would it be, 36 and 28 or something like that going in. You just lost a lot of ground. And you do play the Mavs, you do play the Lakers here in the next two games. So ideally, I mean, if you win those, you're right back in that eight seed. I think you might even have the eight seed if you go 2-0, just with how everything would shake out. But regardless, I mean, the good news, honestly, is just that, Steph isn't missing that much time. I think he's pretty much ruled out for the Mavs game, but in all likelihood, he's going to be back Saturday night against the Lakers. Need him. The Warriors haven't won a game in LA for God knows how long. So definitely would like to break that streak there. Like you said, they're playing some really good basketball. They've kind of had the opposite of the Warriors, I guess, this year, where they've clutched up in a lot of games that they shouldn't have won, you can argue. And the Warriors have kind of sold a lot of games that they should have won. So the fact that these two teams are sitting at 9 and 10 again just kind of shows how deep this Western Conference is, and how I think when you like if and when you get into the dance and secure a series, all bets are off for who's actually going to come out of them, just given the veteran guys on some of these teams with lower seeds, guys like Kyrie and Luka on the Mavs. So the goal for the regular season is always just been to get to the playoffs and get there healthy and in a first round series. So I mean that's still there. I guess the silver lining is that, the Warriors are guaranteed at least one play-in game, regardless of how the rest of the season shakes out. I don't think they're going to drop out of the 10 seed. So, at the worst case, you get as healthy as possible to go win two games in the plan. So, in that sense, it's not necessarily like, oh, the season is completely over. Like they're not making the playoffs. They're not doing this. Very much possible just with who this team is. But at the same time, we've seen them playing some of their best basketball in the last 3 weeks, month or so. So I wouldn't rule out them winning two games in the plan either. But yeah, just overall, I mean, it's just a stretch that they could have capitalized on. But again, it is what it is. But like you said, Matt, there are a lot of games here coming up that they can win. But just specifically into those Spurs games, man, I was just shocked. I mean, you brought it up just with the lineups. I feel like anybody on Twitter could have told you to start Klay Thompson in that game, playing next to Chris Paul. I honestly like starting TJD, especially with Chris Paul
It,
out
it
there.
was just the conjunction of
You can't play Pods.
Pods,
You can't play Pods.
Kaminga, Draymond, and Trace Jackson Davis. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, Pods is not a consistent shooter out there, and
yeah.
and those other three guys are obviously, no matter how well Draymond's shooting,
Like the fact that they
we
had
can see they're
the
not
fact that
stepping
they
out.
the fact that they had a guy like Klay Thompson, Moses Moody, even Andrew Wiggins on the bench, and they rolled off that lineup, that starting lineup, just kind of was head scratching. Like there were definitely different options. We spoke about it last time. Love Pods, obviously, like for the great rookie season, this dude's going to be great, or great fit on the Warriors, whatever. He has an unconsiderably long leash for any rookie I've seen in under Steve Kerr. Um, we saw it kind of yesterday. I mean, Wiggins, there was a cool, I mean, not cool, but it was like a funny kind of interaction between Wiggins and Pods. I feel like it got made out to be a lot more than it is. But it was during fast break. It was I think Wiggins got a steal or Kuminga got a steal, passed it ahead to Wiggs. I don't think he saw the defender behind him. Thought he kind of had an easy dunk. Kind of felt the pressure, loses the ball or gets fouled. And Pods is kind of sitting there going like, come on, Wiggs, like to pass him the ball. Pods was open for a layup, and Wiggs kind of turns around and kind of gives him that like, fuck you talking about. Enter said word that most any of us can't say. But nah. So I mean, just what was your reaction to that, man? Because that was honestly, I thought it was hilarious. I think that if you've played sports or if you've played basketball at any sort of level, you've had a moment where you had a teammate that you wanted to pass the ball to, or wanted you to pass the ball to them, or you wanted to be, or you were that guy, and you kind of have that moment. It just seemed like one of those, but obviously, Warriors Twitter during a time when the Warriors aren't doing well is probably one of the more dangerous places to be. So, this place it was erupting. There were hit jobs done on Pods' character, Wiggins' character, what these guys, the locker room beef without Steph. It was just funny for me to see. But what do you guys think? I mean, I feel like we're gonna all say the same thing, but like Matt, what'd you see there, man? Like, what was it? Anything like, or Chuck, who was
Yeah,
someone?
I mean, here's my take. Wiggins should have passed it. Pods
100%.
shouldn't have said anything. It's also not a big deal. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's all. And Pods can say something, man. Teammates talk. Gotham, you said it, man. People, if you, hey, pass the rock with the ball, it happens. I actually don't even think Pods shouldn't have said anything. I think it's fine. I think Wiggins is fine to respond. I'm not. That's it. Let's move on. It's okay. Wiggins was cheering for him 2 plays later. That's how sports works, guys. Okay. Um, However, I will say again, if I'm Pods, I'm looking at Wiggs who's shooting 13% from the free throw line, seeing him get fouled, and I'm wide open on the block, man. Yeah, passing the rock, man. I'm wide open. Okay. But needless to say, Wiggins might be thinking to himself, I saw you screw up a shot from this exact spot 2 games ago. All right. So I'm doing my thing. Whatever happens, happens. Listen, no, I think a whole lot of nothing. If you ask me like, hey, was anybody in the wrong? No. If you made me say somebody's in the wrong, I'd say no. But again, it's teammates talk. If Wiggins was annoyed, Pods talk. That makes sense. I can get annoyed at that too. If Pods wanted the rock, that makes sense. He was wide open for a layup, and Wiggins got fouled, and Wiggins
And
can't shoot free throws.
and he missed a free throw. So like at the end, Pods was on his part right. He got missed out on the point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I'm with you there too, Matt. Like I don't mind Pod saying something because like that's the most Twitter thing ever is just for a bunch of people to start like commenting and doing like armchair psychology on a thing that they just don't understand. Like
This is not normal, guys.
yeah, like dude, that oh God, I hate that phrase so much. But uh that's just like your teammates, it's a highly competitive environment. You're also coming off this stretch where like you've had 2 brutal losses back to back and you're trying to close out a game that you should win and you'll be devastated if you lose. So like all the competitive fire is there. And yeah, like a teammate screws something up. Um, it's one thing if a guy screws something up in like a rotation in half court or whatever, or like something more minor and inexcusable, and you kind of call him out, and it's like, oh, what the fuck? Like, what are you getting mad at me for? But like that's like Wiggins knows he should have gone a little harder on that. Like even if there's no one behind you, like still just go into it with some effort, go up. Um, yeah, it's just a big nothing. Like I'm sure after the game they talked about it and they're like, oh, whatever. Like we got the win. Like winning kind of cures everything. So yeah, it's just a big fat nothing. And I also do like I have to admit, when I saw the clip, I could not stop laughing
Yeah, it was
at
hilarious.
Wiggins turning around and yelling that at a guy who looks exactly like Mr. Tumnus. Like it's just such a funny thing to watch, dude.
I think Wiggins' face too was just like, bro, like, what do you? It's basically it was a whole lot of nothing. I think the funniest part, just on the Twitter part, was like people being like, "Oh, dude, Paz is a rookie. Why is he saying shit like this?" And guys, this is the same guy that there was a story that came out like whatever a couple months ago. Who he was talking shit to Draymond during a scrimmage and told him to lock in and not give up a defensive fucking whatever rebound or something like that. The kid's not afraid to talk, and like at the end of the day, he's been having a rough few games, and obviously the Bulls loss was a lot of people pinned it on him. Not the reason they lost that game, by the way, but like he missed a point blank layup to tie it. Whatever shit happens. We've seen so many dudes like have like brain farts in some of these moments. So I just thought it was funny for people to use this as like I don't know, just an overall, just like just putting this guy like I don't know. It's what Potts does. We've seen him do this in the entire year, and like he's not going to change. It's why the vets love him. They've said it. The guy's feisty. The guy's going to say his mind. He's the leading the league in charge for a reason. It's that kind of mentality. So you get what you take it at his best, you take it at his worst, man. It is what it is. They got the win. It was funny. I just found it hilarious how many people think, like you said, Chuck, that they're just Twitter psychologists, I guess. But no, it was I thought it was a great moment. Provided some humor. But kind of looking forward, guys. We got the Mavs and the Lakers and say the Knicks. I mean, the next three games, big ones. Good news is Steph Curry most likely coming back Saturday. Report today from the Warriors, the official Warriors account, cleared to do all to return to basketball activity. Most likely will not play tomorrow night, but we'll practice with the team in LA on Friday, and should be ready for Saturday. Can the Warriors win tomorrow night without Steph? You're going into Dallas, who again are also playing some decent basketball right now. Luka is putting on just I think a 30-point triple double on a nightly basis at this point. Um, you're obviously without Steph Curry. Can the Warriors go into Dallas tomorrow night and in arguably the biggest game of the season, at least up until this point, can they pull off the dub, man?
I think so. Like you look at Dallas, the way that they played after the All-Star break, they've had one of the worst defenses. Um, like they've just been consistently not giving enough effort, kind of getting rocked on that end. Just looking at their last six games, they've given up 138, 120, 137, 108, 124, and then finally put together a nice performance with the Bulls, of all teams, who only managed to get 92 on them. But even with Luka playing the way he is, just playing out of his mind, like this team is still trying to find themselves on the defensive end of the floor. So if they come out with the energy that we saw from quarters 2 through 4 last night on offense, then I think they can get it done. Um, the real question to me is who's containing Luka. Do they try TJD again? Because Daniel Gafford has been on a tear. He has made 28 straight field goal attempts. And as good as Draymond is, like that is the kind of like size and power combo that he usually struggles with in space. So it's a game they're capable of winning. But when we look at the standings too, like if they have any hope of crawling out of the lower half of the play-in, like you said, Gotham 6 seed is pretty much out of the question by now. But they are 2.5 games back of Dallas and Sacramento. So if you lose to Dallas, like now you're 3.5 back. You've only got 17 games left to play. Dallas would only have 16. Like it's just getting real. It's getting real unlikely. So you got to be able to pull this one out if you have some hope of crawling up.
Yeah,
Matt, what you?
yeah, I'm on the same page. All I hear though is Warriors writer says Daniel Gafford is better than Draymond Green. I'm putting that out there. um, no, I think I do think it's a notable game for all the reasons you said, Jack. They've been pleading points for since you said since late January, early February. Um, with that being said, do I expect them to win? I actually predicted that they would win in the Warriors would win in our group chat, guys. And I already feel bad about it. But it feels like the kind of weird thing the Warriors would do in the midst of a season like this. That's the only reason. It's not a matter of me thinking they have the chops. It's more a matter of like them having the mystic strangeness to them. So yeah, I think a win could be on the horizon. I do think again, Dallas is going to let you in. They're going to keep you in a game. The Warriors have guys to exploit the space Dallas allows on offense. Um, as awesome as Luka and Kyrie have been offensively this year, and for this recent stretch, they've been probably equally. No, I shouldn't. They're winning games. So I shouldn't say equally, but they've been diminishing on defense. In a way the Warriors, we saw Chris Paul kind of get going yesterday a little bit. Also, props to Chris Paul. We did not say that. The guy was shot the lights out with the Warriors in that game at various points. Kind of team that might let Kuminga get going. Trace Jackson Davis is going to have his opportunity as well. So yes, they can win. I feel skeptical, literally saying they will, but I think they might pull this one out.
Hell yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you guys. I think like you said, Chuck, I was watching they played the Pacers, I think last week or like a week and a half ago. And dude, it was non-existent defense. Guys that it was like watching a Warriors game where you just saw like the most random dudes going off and wide open threes, guys just getting easy dunks. So yeah, I think Dallas is definitely gonna give you a lot of points tomorrow. And the Warriors have guys that can not lock up Kyrie and Luka, but have guys that can slow them down in GP2 and Moses Moody, obviously Draymond. I think TJD, like you mentioned, Chuck, is going to be huge and just in his both offensively, defensively. He's done a great job as a rim protector, changing a lot of shots, blocking a lot of shots. Like you mentioned, 1.7 steals and blocks per game since he's kind of been in the rotation. So yeah, I mean, I don't see why they can't win it tomorrow. I mean, for a team that does lose to the Bulls and Spurs without Wemby and Vassell, it would be, like you said, Matt, kind of just it would make sense for them to go into Dallas and win a game that has massive seeding implications. So should be fun. But yeah, again, it's one of those where I don't want to say the season boils down to, these kind of games, but when you're in such a tight race, especially when you have 3 games against these guys, going 2-1 is pretty much a wash since they've already won one. So you kind of have to sweep it. And so, no Steph, no excuse. I think that, they're good enough to play with beat them without Steph. They're a deep team. So there's obviously nobody else is on the injury report. So you pretty much got a full squad and you get Steph back on Saturday. So that really should be the mindset of, hey, like we just got to win one and then we get him back for LA. So yeah, I mean, I don't see why they can't go into Dallas tomorrow night and kind of shock the world, shock everybody, to be honest.
I do want to add, this needs to be one of those games where I'm going to include Draymond in this, but Draymond, Wiggs, and Gary Payton should be on Luka at all times. There's no reason to not match his minutes with at least one of those 3 guys. Chuck, you mentioned the Draymond kind of Gafford conundrum, we'll call it, right? The greatest problem of our time, Draymond v. Gafford. But if that's what's happening, right, I do want to see Dre give Luka a shot. I do think he's actually kind of guy who can do a really good job on him. I really, again, if we get any stretch in the game where it's Moody, again, actually, you know what? Give Moody a shot. It's fine. But you name Chris Paul, Pods, whoever it might be on Luka, I'm gonna fucking lose it, man. So please keep those guys out there. Match those minutes with Luka. They have guys who can make this guy uncomfortable as much as he can be, at least. So make that happen, please.
Yeah, no, 100%.
We need those, man. And standings watching is in full effect right now. We are team Milwaukee tonight, heavily. Really need Kings to get
Milwaukee's been
knocked
selling
out.
for us, man.
Yeah, they're doing some good work for us. But yeah, man, it's just one of those stretches of the year, and boy, I'm hoping we get the TJD that we saw last night against the Mavs tomorrow night, because dude was just looking like a beast. Like he has no business like actually giving Wemby problems.
Gave Giannis problems against the Bucks. Like the kid is growing up, man. He's playing some real good hoops.
Absolutely. No, it's been awesome, man. I'm hoping we get it down the stretch run, dude. This guy's been hooping, and as much as it sucks to see Kavan riding the pine all day, like it's what they need. They need that athleticism. They need the defense.
Right now, quick rapid fire predictions. What seed pre-play-in pre-playing. What seed do the Warriors end up as, Chuck?
Man, I think they squeeze by the Lakers. So like I think they end up 9 seed, home court for that 9-10 game. We will see how that goes because we all know what happened the last time they hosted the Lakers in a play-in game. That wasn't fun. So I'm thinking 9. Like I don't know if they have the juice. Like maybe without the Steph injury, and if they pull off that Bulls game, then we'd be looking at this a little differently. If that means a couple more wins and they're 36-28 instead, like they might have a shot climbing to the top of the play-in, but I think 9 is really the most realistic thing they can get to right now. What do you guys think?
I got them at 8, man. I think they can sneak into the 2 cracks at getting in. I just think 9, like 7, 8, 9, they're all within like a game and a half of each other. So if you are, these next 2 games are huge. I think if they can pull off these 2 wins against the Mavs and the Lakers, they should either be the 8 seed or like half a game behind. They play the Mavs 2 more times. They play the Lakers 1 more time. So they're going to have opportunities to jump those guys. I think the Suns have a really tough schedule to finish it off. The Kings have been kind of up and down as well, losing some games that they should. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, and the Warriors have a pretty easy, not easy, but like after that Knicks game, it's a lot of winnable games. I think they have one against Minnesota, but other than that, it's a lot of winnable games for the rest of March, and then kind of going into the end of the season. So, I could see them making up some ground. I think 8 should be the goal, or whatever the bare minimum for what they're shooting for. Give yourself 2 cracks at it, man. The playing game with this team, you never know. So we're gonna want to maximize those opportunities. I think 6, like you said, I think like we said, 6 is kind of out of the table, but it's gonna be within. It may be, who knows? 7, 6, 7, 8, 8, 2. Like it's gonna be the Suns, the Kings, the Mavs, the Lakers, the Warriors. So like that entire kind of conundrum or just conglomeration of teams that you're seeing there right now, like it's just gonna be an absolute shit show to down to the wire. So I think 8's definitely doable. I think if they can get hot and really finish the season strong when Steph comes back, you never know. But I think 8 should be like what they aim for.
Yeah, actually, I think both of you are ridiculous. I'm just kidding. No, 9 and 8 makes a lot of sense. I'm actually gonna roll with Gotham. I do think 8's within reach. Uh, it's gonna take a lot. They obviously have to win at least 2 of these Dallas games coming up, but I think it's totally doable. And I kind of just think it's possible once Steph comes back, we get a nice little Steph stretch because he'll be a little rested. And we've seen Steph kind of multiple times now, right? Have these heaters when he comes back from a little break. After Becky's passing, All-Star break, beginning of the season, right? He tends to play really well after some rest. So they should be able to run some off. And after that, like you said, Gotham schedule lightens up. So I am gonna say 8. I don't feel even 1% good about it. I'm between 1 and 0, and some probably closer to 0. But yeah, no, I'm going 8. I'm going 8 seed, going into the play-in, and just hope to God they can get that first game taken care of so they get about 4 or 5 days rest before the first round starts.
I love that. I love that, boys. Well, hell of an episode. We got some fun stretch of basketball coming up. Warriors, Lakers, Warriors, Mavericks, Warriors, Knicks. Some good stuff on the books. But before we get out of here, anything you guys got coming up in the works, Chuckster?
Man, let's see. Most recent writing, did a little ditty on Sam Merrill on the Cavs and his shooting. So that was fun stuff. Also, finally getting back into the game film rewatches. Down for the home stretch. Did a little thread on Trace Jackson Davis's performance last night against the Spurs. So you can check that out on my Twitter at Claytheist11. Also, free me, Elon. Why did you mark me as spam? That's not cool, man. What have I done to you, man? What did I do? I'm not saying blank in bio every day, but I'm the one who gets marked as spam. Sick.
Oh no, Chuck. Got Elon now. It's tough. I got nothing.
Elon's
Keep
just not
reading,
a
Chuck.
basketball truther, man. It's not a basketball
Dude,
truther.
he doesn't want me to spread the gospel of Trace
Not a
Jackson
ball
Davis.
knower. Not a ball knower.
Yeah, if you're sharing the same gospel as Elon Musk, you're doing something wrong. So glad that's working out for you, Chuck, at least. So yeah, no, I got nothing. I don't know why I'm pausing to speak here. The answer is no, nothing to plug. Keep
Love
reading,
it.
Chuck.
Keep reading, Chuck. Keep checking us out, guys. Stretch run, standings watch, March Madness, a lot of stuff in the works. But we'll catch you guys on the next episode, man. Peace.